we'll look at Russia. So Russia, we have the Romanovs, they're the royal family in charge. And the Romanovs, Russia will be very different from Western Europe. Right? Russia, to think about Russian society before Peter the Great, we have to think about it almost like it's, like Saudi Arabia today. So women and men did not interact in public. Men wore long garbs. Men did not shave, so they had long beards. The society was very religious. So, and Peter the Great wants to westernize Russia. He wants to westernize it, make it more like Europe. As a young man, he's over 7 feet tall, so he's this giant. He goes to the Netherlands, he goes to Germany, he lives there, he actually works as a carpenter and builds ships in Holland. And so he sees the technology that exists in the West, and he wants to bring it back to Russia. And why? He knows that if Russia doesn't modernize, Russia doesn't westernize, Russia will be weak and will face threats from Europe. So his goal is to create a modern Russia that has the technology and the military strength of the West. So how is he going to do this? Well, a couple things. Obviously he fights wars, right? He builds up his army, he fights wars, he gains territory. Some of the territory he gains is in the Great Northern War against Sweden. He gains his territory along the Baltic Sea. This will allow Russia to have access to the sea there, which means they can have a navy. And on that land next to the Baltic Sea, Peter the Great will build his new capital of St. Petersburg. And the St. Petersburg will be a window on the west. And he'll name the capital Sankt Petersburg, which is actually the German name. It'll be a German name for the city, which shows the Western influence of Peter. He'll bring in architects from Italy. He'll design a city along the lines of Amsterdam with canals and other things that will allow things to be moved around and things to be traded within it. And so St. Petersburg is an example of Peter's westernizing trend. Peter is going to also have more control over religion. He will appoint a person called the procurator. The procurator will be a government official in charge of overseeing the Russian Orthodox Church. A government official who oversees the Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church. In other words, we'll see that he will have more control over religion. He'll change the culture not just by limiting religious influence, but also by mandating changes in how people behave. Peter will publish the first Russian book of etiquette. That's the word I'm looking for. The first Russian book of etiquette. And so basically, he'll be describing how people should behave at dinner, how they should interact in public, how they should use utensils. He requires nobles to shave their beards, to cut off their beards. He requires men and women to attend parties together. And so he'll westernize Russian culture. And finally, as I noted before, he'll build a large navy. Okay, and so he will build a navy, and he'll begin, more Russian trade with Europe. Now, how does he get the nobles to go along with this? He gets the nobles to go along with this by basically granting them more rights over their serfs. And so while Peter is making all these changes in terms of how the nobles need to behave, we will have the serfs living a very different life. The serfs will be controlled by the nobles. They will not see any changes in their lives. In fact, the power of the nobles over the serfs will increase. But Peter also expects loyalty to himself. And so he rewards those nobles that follow what he wants. He gives them positions in government and therefore more political power. And those nobles he doesn't like, he isolates from political power. Some nobles who don't like this try to form opposition to him. They try to get the support of his son, the heir to the throne in Russia, on his side, on their side. So these opponents of Peter. And Peter's son Alexei, agrees that his father maybe was too drastic in his reforms. Peter doesn't like this at all, and so Peter has his son killed to ensure that his son will not inherit the throne after he dies. And so Peter wants to ensure that his westernizing legacy in Russia, the changes he brought about, the cultural changes, the westernizing changes when it comes to commercial connections, a stronger military, and a stronger government in which people that are loyal to the Tsar are rewarded and get more power, in which the nobles have to do things for the state in order to gain power. Peter wants to ensure that these continue, and so they largely do after he dies. And that's it, I think. For now, that's all that's on the spiel right now.